Thank you all for joining me. Bill Boshears tonight in the Scizone till 12 o'clock. Thank you for being there. And for those of you on the internet worldwide, thank you. It is on Bill Boshears' blog, or not blog, it's blogtv.com, and it's running live, and you're a part of it. And in there, there's a bunch, there's Bogey, D. Wolf, Hummer, Roger, and JC. All the guys are in there from the Hunt Club. Anyway, you may want to join them. Anyway, tonight, some of the news. You know, the funny thing about this, I was asked today what this show is about. Some guy was talking to me. He said, you know, I've seen you. He said, I only caught the tail end of it. Can you tell me about it? Yeah. We try to give people information, and then they can make up their mind. We cover topics here that are not in the mainstream media, I guarantee you. And then once it's presented in whatever confines, whatever it is, you have a chance to sort of analyze it in your mind and then exercise your opinion about it by calling us at 513-381-3838. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know of any other talk show that allows people to call in and say, hey, what do you think of this? Tonight, there were some things that happened in the news, for instance, this week. And I understand this up to a point, but I think it's much to do about nothing. There are plenty of other things that have happened that are far more intense than this is. Catherine Sheely of the New York Times. Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton defended saying in the Democrats' nomination contest Friday by saying that her husband didn't wrap up his nomination until June of 1992. And that, we all remember, is Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in June in California. Her remarks set off a torrent of criticisms. Was it in bad taste? I don't know. The fact that Ted Kennedy's got a brain tumor, if you knew more about Ted Kennedy, you might not be as compassionate. What she had to say was really grilled the other night on TV by a lot of analysts. I really don't have an opinion on it. Maybe you do. If you do, you're welcome to chime in with it. If you think it was a good, bad, right, wrong thing for her to say, I really don't care. Nor do I care about Barack Obama. By the way, there is something, if you don't have a pencil, get one, because I'm going to give you a movie that you are going to get if you'll go to Google. It's going to explain something. We are in a very, very serious time in this country. We're going to look at the reasons behind the high oil prices, what I've been saying, and the Senate this week passed the war funding bill, enough to get Bush out of office. And I'm looking at it here. I thought it was a large amount this week on, I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday. Here it is, $165.4 billion. That's with a B. This country's broke. And it's a very interesting thing how we got broke. Every president since Jimmy Carter, you know, every once in a year they go, oh, the government is going to have to close its doors for a couple of 3 days until we can figure out how to pay for it. And then they go over to the Social Security and take the money out. They just put an IOU in there. And it's broke. But they keep paying out of it, and they go, well, I don't know if we can up those benefits or not. Boy, I'll tell you, those benefits of those people getting all that money for nothing, I don't know. You forget something. Those people paid that money into it. It's their money, not yours, Mr. Senator, Mr. Congressman. You're responsible for the good stewardship of it, and you haven't been that. Secondly, you have a different Social Security system. It's not called Social Security. It's called some other apple pie in the sky that I have to pay for. And you're not subject to the same constraints that Americans are. Namely, you have to be a certain age and blah, blah, blah. You get your salary when you leave the Senate for the rest of your life. And when you die, your wife gets it in perpetuity, I guess. Quite honestly, you're not worth it. I'm talking to the senators and to the congressmen. None of you are worth what you do. Most of you have to, I'm sure, back up to the window and put your hand out behind you. I'd be ashamed too. That's the way you get your check. But besides all that, we got Rob and Ben and Z, and we'll get to those calls and their opinions about what we've talked to. I know somebody's going to say, let's take a break here in a minute, but is it time for that proverbial break right now? We can go a little longer, he says, and that's what we're going to do. There is a movie. I want you to go to Google and look and get a load of this. It's called Maxed Out. M-A-X-E-D out. It is a movie about credit. And I covered this when it came out. And about 7, 8, 9 years ago, I started telling people, you're not going to be able to file bankruptcy and get out of this. I saw the handwriting on the wall. Do you realize that there, and it's, as it points out in this movie, there are young people in college that have looked at the debt and committed suicide? Yeah. Because there's no way to pay it off. They estimated last year, I believe it was Congress did this. A guy has a bill on his credit card. He paid on it for 6 years, probably $1,000 a month. When this got to Congress, they asked, you know, how much of this goes to the end, oh, well, we can't figure, this is the credit card companies and the banks. Oh, we can't figure that out. We don't have, well, come to find out they did figure it out. And here's what they found. Your credit card, if you're paying one of those gigantic interest rates, you are looking at somewhere. Because you can, by the way, they lobbied the government, and your prestigious president is the guy who passed it. You cannot get out from under and get a fresh start. You can't do that. Not your credit cards. Rest of it can be expunged, but not credit cards. Why? We'll look at why after this. We'll take a pause in the action. 513-381-3838. Jump in. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Scizone with Bill Boshears. That's me tonight. Thank you for joining me. We got telephone calls out to everybody's all lined up here to get in. $168 billion worth, and with no let up in sight. The country is not in a recession. It is not looking at a recession. It is, in fact, in a depression. And this is from the international forecaster. He talks about it out on the lawn yesterday. The president used the White House lawn to stacked up with props for the press, Congress, to approve free trade pacts with Colombia, Panama, and South Korea. Now, tell me what you get from Colombia, Panama, and South Korea that you absolutely have to have. It has nothing to do with anything except that now he's got a place to send the jobs, what's left of them in this country, to them. And he will do that. They realize final trade is a policy. issued as a gold mine for the trans-international illuminists and global migrants. By the way, there were 297 illegal aliens were detained for working in a kosher meat plant in Postville near Waterloo, Iowa, sentenced to 5 months in prison for using false documents. Well, it's high time somebody started prosecuting these people. If I walked in with a false document, do you know what I'd get? Or you? But no, they seem to get by with it. Anyway, just the tip of the iceberg, it's coming. Let's go to Z on the line here. Z, you're there. Go ahead. Hello, Z once. Z, are you there? I think he hung up. Let's go to Rob. Are you there, sir?
Yes, Mr. Boshier.
Go right ahead, sir.
I really don't have any questions about the financial end with the government.
Yeah.
But I can't remember where I heard it at, but I heard that the government was checking into doing some surveillance tactics with television.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if this business with we're going to lose our signal on the analog, is that Big Brother watching when they switch it over to digital?
There's been a lot of criticism of that, but I don't think so. If you took, and we're supposed to have all this sophisticated, there's computers and eyes in the sky and all that stuff, and then some moron loses a laptop. You heard the stories.
Yeah.
Do I think they're sitting around watching me watch television? I don't really care.
Right.
I'm watching my porno site on my internet TV. What difference does it make?
Well,
what are you going to do? Prosecute me? Oh, God, he saw porno. Put him away. Oh, God. I guess that's what they do. The porno police will be out in front of your house, and or you're watching a movie. All they're going to do is get a statistic.
Right.
They're not going to come back into your television that way. If they want to do that, they'll have to drive by your house and point a camera at it. And I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And if you are, you'll get caught by your neighbors before the government can catch you. Particularly our president. He couldn't catch himself in a closet.
Right.
Rob,
Right.
I appreciate your call, sir.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Surveillance. Ben, you're on surveillance. Go right ahead.
Hi, Bill.
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you, sir?
You sound well. Go right ahead.
I feel well. I got two things. I'll be succinct. The first one is I watched a program at 9 o'clock tonight. It was called Continent of Opportunity.
Yeah.
It was about two politicians and one actor begging for industry to move to Africa.
Oh, yeah.
We need jobs here. You know.
Oh, man.
There's no jobs here. And then the second thing real quick is the ethanol. They said on the World News Tonight this past week that the reason the food prices are so high is because of the ethanol.
That's bull crap.
Nobody uses ethanol.
No, you know anybody's? I got to have some ethanol.
Everybody uses gasoline or diesel that I know.
If you don't have a car that'll burn it, you're going to ruin your car.
That's
Here's
right.
the other part.
Uh-huh.
They're already saying, the price of corn's going up.
Well, being lied to is nothing new.
Oh, get ready. You haven't heard anything yet.
Thanks, Bill. You have a good time.
You got it, brother.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And Tom and Don are online waiting. We'll be right with them in a second. Here are some of the stuff that you're going to be pointed out to. You've got to go get this movie. You guys in that Hunt Club need to go get this. This is in the Google. You need to get it. It's called Maxed Out. It's all about the credit card scam that the government, along with the banks, and they got George Dumbnuts to pass. I mean, nobody can file bankruptcy now against the bank, even though you've been screwed over by your bank. Now, are banks notoriously bad? No. Banks try to do the right thing. Here in Cincinnati, we got some of the most outstanding banks in the world, right here in Cincinnati. Now, they're not everywhere, as you well know. By the way, these hedge funds and derivatives, the marketplace for your house, get ready. The value of your house is going to come down again next year. You're going to lose more money in it. Why? Because the value of it is going to drop. Your bank is controlling that, and there are people that will not pay the price. Notoriously here in Cincinnati, hasn't been as bad as it has been in other parts of the world or country. But there's a group of people in this country that's really screwing things in the ground, and it's called speculators. I'm going to get to them, and I'm not done with that yet. Let's go back to Tom. Tom, you're there, sir. Go ahead.
Hello, Bill Sheriff.
How you doing, sir?
All right. I watched a show tonight called America's Most Wanted.
Yeah. I wasn't on there, was I?
No,
Okay.
Fortunately not.
Good, good.
The thing that struck me odd, they selected a hero policeman of the week. And it was about an old lady with no criminal record, 68 years old, and her family wanted her committed. She didn't want to leave her trailer home. She told the uniformed officers, "Leave me alone, I've got a gun." So they called out SWAT. SWAT tried to throw a phone through her window to communicate, and she shoots one of the police officers in the neck. Now this man's crippled, and I'm going, God have mercy on us all. We're calling out SWAT to drag an old lady out of her home, and instead of picking, say, a policeman that caught a robber or a rapist, they nominate this man as the hero policeman of the week. Why can't we just have mercy on the old lady and let her in her home?
It would be too simple, and the system is in place. Big Brother, all I can tell you is you don't live in America that I knew as a kid. It's all over with.
Hey, Bill?
Sir?
Now I'm the fellow that makes funny predictions.
I heard that.
Okay, now don't get upset with me. But look for an earthquake in California in the very near future. These people are starting to marry homosexuals, which is also, like, you don't pick on old people or cripples.
Yeah.
You don't do things like that.
No, you shouldn't do things like that.
They had an earthquake in China, and the Chinese have been persecuting the Tibetans for years.
Yeah, it's true. I got to run. I got to go to break. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate it, sir. We got to take a pause in the action. Thank God for breaks. I'll be right back. Don't you go away. We'll get to your call, Don and Mike. There's lines open. Please jump in. 513-381-3838. Those green bags are something else. You got to try those. I'm Bill Boshears. This is Scizone. Thank you for joining me. Let's go right back to the phone, and let's go talk to Don tonight. You're there, Don. Go ahead.
Hey, Bill, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, brother. Go right ahead.
I want to tell you what I'm practicing.
Tell me what you're practicing.
I got knee pads on, and I'm learning how to say, "All hail King Bush. All hail King Bush," because I can see the cavalcade coming down the street. We'll over here. Cattle prods men to your back saying, "Bow to the master."
You know what? And if he don't get out pretty soon, and you may have to be using those knee pads to bow to Mecca.
Yep, you got that right.
It's either him or Mecca, one of the two.
Well, Saudi Arabia just spent $3 billion to try to emphasize their religion in this country alone.
Do you know what? I don't bother them people. Why in the hell they want to bother me?
That's my point. Now, I'm not a religious man, okay?
That's all right. I don't care
But
whether
you
you are
go
or
into their neighborhood and try to go to the door like preachers do here, buddy, you're shunned out. You get the heck beat out of you.
Either that or killed.
Killed, one of the two. So, like I said, remember now, I said it. It's going to be all hail King Bush here.
You got it, Don. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bye.
Don's making a prediction there, I think. He may be right. Mike, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, I want to tell you I love your show.
I do, too.
And I was on the Internet tonight over at my son's house, and it came up that you were fired.
That I was what?
Fired.
Fired?
F-I-R-E-D.
Fired.
Yeah.
Where was I fired?
Well, I don't know. I thought it meant from the TV, from Channel 38.
Where did you hear that?
I seen it on the Internet. It says Bill Bashir fired.
Fired. Well, I was fired up, but I don't know how else I could tell you anything else about it.
Okay. And a couple more questions is, why ain't you on prime time?
Because of the schedule of the shows that we've got here that are really very important. And prime time is a good time, but I like this time.
Okay.
It gives me a chance to get all the necessaries together. But we're working on that. Trust me.
Okay, and another thing is, my son has cable. How does he, what channel does he go to get your TV show?
Where does he live, sir?
In Erlanger.
He needs to go to Insight 189. I believe it's 189, isn't it, guys? I don't know. You can call Insight Cable over there, and they'll be happy to tell you.
All righty.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks a bunch.
And I hope they don't get rid of you.
Well, I do too.
I'm thinking the government will.
Oh, if Hillary gets in, my career's over.
Well, I'm surprised you're still on.
I am too. Anyway, I appreciate your call, Mike.
Appreciate talking to you.
Say a prayer for me. I appreciate it. Got it. Let's go to Tom. Tom, you're on the air with me.
Hey, Bill, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm all right, man.
All right. I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
Today, I went down to the Cincinnati Zoo, right? They got that zoo baby thing going on, right?
Yeah.
All right, and that's where they got all them little baby animals, you know, like gorillas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I realized while I was at the zoo, I see all these hundreds of people there, why we have a problem with food shortage, high food prices, high oil prices, and oil shortage, all of it. All right, you ready for it?
This is going somewhere quick. Go ahead.
All right. It is because the half android, half humans are eating all the food and using all the oil in the United States.
That's what it is. I appreciate your call. Half androids. I don't know what that is. Raymond, you there, sir? Everybody loves Raymond. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mike Gravel for president. Have you heard of him?
Who?
Mike Gravel.
No, I haven't heard of him.
You know, like Gravel, Gravel Road, Mike Gravel.
Uh-huh.
I think he'd be right up, be good for your show if you could get a hold of Mike Gravel.
All right, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Let's go to Annette. Annette, you're there.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
All of the, there's not a lack of oil. That's BS, number one. And I believe that our government is using this to bring us to our knees for economic collapse, which will take us into Rex 84.
Yep. I could well see it. I really can. Annette, you're getting ahead of me. That was my next topic. I'm going to cover that.
Well, it's genius,
That's just,
like mine.
Like mine. Thank you, dear. I appreciate your call. Bye-bye.
Love you, Joe. Bye.
The real reason behind the record high oil prices, and this comes from Miss Daisy. You thought Miss Daisy was in the movie, didn't you? She lives in Quartzsite, Arizona. And she's sort of a, if you will, somebody that supplies information. Producer, perhaps, a good one. As detailed in an earlier article, a conservative circulation is at least 60% of today's $128 per barrel price of crude oil comes from unregulated future speculation by hedge funds, banks, and financial groups using the London ICE futures and the New York MX futures exchange and uncontrolled interbank over-the-counter trading to avoid scrutiny. This is where the daisy chaining starts. U.S. margin rules for the government commodity futures trading allows speculators to buy crude oil in the futures by having to pay only 6% of the value of the contract. At today's price of 128 barrels, this is some days ago, I think it's 100, and, what is it, guys, 133 today? Bogey, would you know what it is? Type it in there. 128 barrels. That means future trades only would put up $8 for every barrel. He borrows the other 120. This extreme leverage is 16 to 1, priced to wildly unrealistic levels to offset the bank's losses in subprime and other disasters at the expense of the overall population. Do I think this exists? I know it does. Somebody, there it is. Thank you, D. Wolf and Bogey. It is 132.19. This is a couple of days old. But it's still. Now, here's where if you got your pencil, write this down. Market Oracle. marketoracle.co.uk. They got them all in there, and this is one of them. You got to know that there are other speculators out there, and that's the reason. I've been telling you all along. They're only putting up $8 for a $128 barrel of oil. Think about it. And you're picking up the rest of it, and there's no shortage of it. When we come back right after this break, I'm going to tell you and explain to you there's two kinds of oil. Stick around. You got an education coming up right after this. See you in a bit. Well, I was going to tell you the two kinds of oil. One is sweet, light, and the other is a sour, heavier oil. We only use the sweet in this country, obviously, because it's easier to process for what we do. The other has higher sulfur content, and here's the best part of all of this. You know, we sent our boys to Iraq to die. Bush did. I didn't. You didn't. That oil's not coming here. It's going to foreign markets, and they've already jacked the price up for you to pay for it. That oil's not coming here. We get ours from Mexico and Canada. We don't even use the oil out of Alaska. It's shipped to China. Well, we can't provide it here because it's too expensive to process, but we really want it, and we're just going to jack the price up a little bit. Keep going, guys. Keep going. You jack it up there, and I'll tell you now, folks, by the end of this month, it'll be over $150. Now, for those of you who speculated in the Iraqi dinar, get ready, because at the exact same time, a strange phenomenon is going to happen. All of that money is going to come to the surface. See, you can't buy Iraqi crude oil with U.S. dollars. You have to buy it with Iraqi dinar. So if you're waiting on your money to reestablish its value, hang on to your speculation. It's going to happen probably by the end of this week. And when it does, if not this week, in the early part of June, watch what happens. And I'd love to talk to you people about that, but there are certain things I can't do. Let's go to James. You're there. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing tonight, Bill?
I'm all right, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, I caught the back end of this evening on the world news. It said something about, I don't even know the man's name, but he was speculating that we're going to need more oil than what they can produce, and something about they're going to raise our national surplus for some reason.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I didn't catch the rest of it.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Bill Clinton sent all of that surplus we had when he was in office to London and to England and Europe? We never got that back.
Well, of course not.
And they let the oil companies get into the strategic reserves when they were running a little low.
Right.
And they put it, and at that time it was $60 a barrel. They put the old sour crude in there at $46 and repaid it that way. They screwed you again.
Bait and switch
was exactly what it was.
Yeah. Well,
Tonight I've just explained to you how this is being done to you. And if this don't urinate you off, I don't know what does. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a backlash in this country. As far be it from me, I'm not going to be here. You guys are going to have it right here. And it's going to be in the street, my friend. James, I appreciate your call, sir.
have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Robin. Robin, you're on the air.
Good evening, Bill.
How are you tonight, dear?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Phenomenally well under the circumstances.
Great. A couple of things. Number one, have you noticed lately, something my husband and I have noticed, it appears that Bush and Cheney and company are no longer being protected by the Secret Service. They look like they're Blackwater people.
They very well could be. They very
Especially
well
overseas,
could be.
especially when they're overseas.
Oh, I'm sure they are at overseas.
Secondly, a suggestion or an idea. Every time the gas prices, the oil prices are raised, why don't we raise the prices of what we are charging overseas to countries for corn, grain, and so forth?
Now, that's a hell of an idea.
That's right. Every time the oil goes up, let's raise what we export.
You know, we could do that if we just sort of bought the wheat market in the futures ahead.
Right.
$150 for a bushel of wheat.
That's right.
If it's exported.
Not within the country.
Not within the country.
Exported.
Exactly.
Yes.
Good idea. I'm going to look into that.
Great.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate the call.
Thanks, Bill. Good night.
Good night. You know, there are people out there thinking, boys, I like that, don't you? The guys in there, they like that too, I guess. Alaskan oil is high sulfur and is shipped to Japan. D. Wolf, thank you. Appreciate that. Let the Japanese, they've got such good air anyway, you know. Let's go to Scott. You're on the air, Scott.
How are you, sir?
I beg your pardon?
How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. He's fascinated with his own voice. Oh, well, how are you? He's fascinated with himself. I'm not. Area code 513-381-3838. Jump in. There's lines available. You can be in. Here's the deal. They buy a barrel of oil for $8, and when they sell it, they've only got $8 invested. Think about that. And they're selling it for $128. So he borrows $120 from his margin account. This is exactly what happened, and exactly the same thing where they were doing, not from this perspective, but the same thing, a marginal thing, they were doing the same thing when the stock market crashed originally. See any similarities, guys and girls? Let's go to Steve. Steve, you're on the air.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Hey, I got my son up here, and I'm trying to talk to him about economics and our country and all that. And I heard that down in the Gulf of Mexico, China is now drilling the oil that rightfully belongs to us.
I don't think China's in there yet, but we'll have to check and see. I don't know, but I doubt it.
Okay.
Could be. They very well could be. They own Panama now, so hell, to put it up there, that would be nothing.
Yeah. I just love your show, and
we do too. Glad you're there. You know, Steve, this wouldn't be a show without you and the people that think like you.
You getting the information to us.
Well, I'll try to do that as long as they'll let me. Anyway, take care. Have a good night and a good weekend, sir.
You do the same.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a break right here. We'll come right back with more and your calls right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Boshier, 513-381-3838. Scizone, Bill Boshier's here till 12 o'clock. In the meantime, we got phone calls coming in from all over the country. We got Rick and Mike and William and thousands of others trying to get in. When somebody hangs up, jump in. You're a part of it. I I don't know that the show is about alien conspiracies unless they're coming across the border. Those are the ones we can deal with and do something about. And if any of you go Bigfoot hunting and catch him, please let me know. We will broadcast it immediately that Bigfoot has been caught and get rid of that nuisance. Rick, you're on the air with Bigfoot hunter Bill Boshears. Go ahead.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Phenomenally well under the circumstances.
I only want to say this. I wish you could get on at an earlier date. I don't know where you came from or much about you, but I really love your show, and I think you're very straightforward and honest about everything that you say, and I would like to see it get on prime time or early in the day so that everybody can hear your views and understand what's going on. And I wanted to ask you, are you talking about a revolution in the streets of this country?
Wouldn't put it past anybody. It could happen, sir. Let me ask you this. Do you have access to a computer?
No, sir, I don't.
Well, if you did, you could go watch the show, all the reruns you could watch, and shortly you'll be able to watch the show on WBQC. They're going to do a live feed up there. But you'll be able to see it, and you can see the other shows that I do on Bill Boshears, one word, on blogtv.com.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to you being able to be on a little earlier because I think the whole United States needs to watch your show and listen to what you have to say.
We're sneaking up on them.
I hope so. Yeah, do a good job because you're doing a good job now, so keep working on it.
You got it, brother. Thank you. And we'll take all of that. They're hearing this in the front office tonight, I'm sure. Mike, you're on the air here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Old Boy. I appreciate the truth. And you said something about them sending jobs to Colombia. That's because they're getting drugs from Colombia.
Of course.
They send jobs to where they get the cheapest prices.
You bet.
And, I had one more thing I wanted to ask you.
By the way, have you ever heard of a place called Mena, Arkansas?
Yes, I have.
They're still running drugs through there, and nobody can figure that out.
Of course, they've been running drugs since Reagan was in office.
And I know it, and you know it, and the DEA can't figure that crap out. Are you kidding me?
They in on it.
They're in on it. The CIA's you.
Everybody's in on it.
Everybody's in on the take, and the money's going to Washington.
Right, and I wanted to say something because I watch the show a lot. Like I said, I love the truth, and I don't hear you talk about racism too much. I was wondering how you feel like how you think racism plays a part in all this, and
I think everybody is racist.
Right, because it's definitely
it's out there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why is it a big secret in this country, and why is it not a topic of conversation? Even with the female and the black guy running for president, it's still not being brought up, gender or race. It's always about politics.
It's always about business as usual.
Right.
I'll tell you what. She is. I don't trust that woman. I'll be honest with you.
I don't trust neither one of them because neither one will come out and say that the George Bush is nothing. They won't say that he is getting over on everybody. They keep their mouth closed for each other. They help each other out.
You know why? They know who's. Hey, look, they killed them other presidents, and these people ain't gonna say crap.
Right. If the person, and they only gonna vote in who gonna be with the same agenda they own right now.
No, they're gonna let you vote and me vote, and then that electoral college is gonna do whatever they damn well please.
Right, because they won't end whoever's gonna agree
you
with
got
the agenda
that right.
that's already in place. Because I heard you saying something like a week or maybe 2 weeks ago about how they giving up sovereignty to Canada and Mexico and how they and they doing stuff like that because they can get away with it.
They get by with it. Nobody calls them on it.
I never would have known of it if I didn't watch this show, and I appreciate the show.
Thank you.
I just wanted to I wish you would bring up not racism, but I wish you would bring that topic up a little more and hear what the people got to say out here.
Well, it's out there. People got ideas about it, and hey, I don't mind. If they want to talk about it, we will. Go take care of that baby, Mike. I'll talk to you later. Got it.
All right, take it easy.
Bye-bye. Let's go to William. William, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, is this me?
That's me.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say about Japan. At the end of World War II, did they say they would attack America from within?
No, that was Khrushchev.
That was Khrushchev said the next time they attack, they would attack it from within?
Yeah, and they never fire a shot. And remember, he pounded his shoe on the lectern at the UN, and here it is.
Okay, I thought it was Japan because the way they're buying up all these countries, these companies, especially like here in Cincinnati, and the tuna that they get the first choice on all the tuna, and they're supposed to have like a 5-10 year surplus of tuna, and they get all that before we do and with all the other stuff. So I thought it was Japan. I had that wrong. Thanks for straightening it out for me.
I don't know. Hey, I don't know that I'm right. It could be very well be Japan, or they're in on it. But I appreciate the call, William. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Jeff. Oh, no. I just told. Something spoke to me. We'll have a break. We'll be right back with your phone call. A few minutes left. Jump in. Lines open. Right here in the Scizone. I don't get a chance to plug movies or do the movies other than the things we get tickets for and so forth. This is a must-see. You must go to Google and check out Maxed Out, M-A-X-E-D, out, O-U-T. And here's some of the stuff the reason. When I saw this, and I spent hours watching it, the commercial, and there's some of the notes about it that I found really interesting of things that you didn't know about. The Department of Commerce reported that the nation's personal savings rate for all of 2006 was a negative 1%, the worst since the Great Depression. I've been telling you, there's no jobs. From July 1, 2005 to last June 30th, there were almost 1.5 million personal bankruptcy filings. That's why they got together and they got it so you can't get away from your bank credit cards. You pay on them forever. And here's why. Credit card issuers have increased the number of mail credit cards offering sixfold since 1990, from just 1.1 billion in 1990 to over 6 billion. 6 billion in 2005. Low-income, middle-class households have an average of over $9,000 on credit cards right now. Average. The federal government and the majority of Americans can no longer get a single day without taking on additional debt. Let me say that again. The federal government, the majority of Americans can no longer get by a single day without taking on additional debt. And as more borrowing goes to simply pay off the old debt or create interest payments, the new debt does little more than increase banking profits. Think about it. Back to the phone. Somebody been there the longest. Let's do Jeff. Jeff, you're there the longest. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing this evening?
Doing well, sir. Glad to have you aboard.
I watched the program this week, and Daryl Hannah was on it, and she's considered one of the top environmentalists, which I did not know. She has a website where she shows how you can take and run diesel engines on cooking oil.
Yep.
Which is one of the things.
Yes, just one.
And one other alternative, which was really interesting, anything not made of glass or steel in this country can be made from hemp. And because the country and the DEA are against such things, public perception is that, it's marijuana.
Well, we're going to have to smoke it.
Well, the thing is, if you plant one plant and don't keep it separate from a field, they all turn male. None of it can be smoked. So if you've got a field, it can all be used as rope, industrial measures, whatever. We could solve the virgin wood, keep our virgin forests.
We can make paper.
Yeah.
We make clothing.
Yeah.
We make rope and ink. There's all kinds. There are
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of products.
And it's all because of the stigmatism of marijuana that the country won't do it. The DEA holds us
And
back.
you know how successful the war on drugs has
Oh,
been.
yes, yeah.
What a jive-ass bunch of crap that is.
Daryl Hannah's got a website, www.darylhannah.com, and she goes into all kind of stuff that's really interesting.
By the way, if you're interested in those cars, go and look for water fuel for cars on Google. They'll blow your mind.
Okay, I'll check that out.
I got a guy getting 40 miles to the gallon.
Thank you.
Got it, brother. Let's go to Doc. You're on the air, Doc.
Hey, Bill, how you doing, buddy?
Phenomenally well.
Well, see, I'm an old intelligence officer, USMC. I called you before.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so glad that you on the air because what you're saying is absolutely true. It's been true for the last 35 years. And what they have done, they have swept it under the rug. One more thing.
The rug is getting crowded, my friend.
One more thing. Don't go nowhere with the CIA here.
Okay.
Because they'll leave you there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know.
You'll have to hitchhike home if you get home.
Yeah, the only way I got back is because I used my own resources.
Well, that's the best. If you go out with them, I wouldn't plan on coming back.
Well, see, I didn't know at that time I was young and dumb and stupid.
Yeah, well, a buddy of mine, Larry Nichols, he has what he and I laughingly call it the plausible egress.
Okay.
And I have him on from time to time. You'd enjoy talking to Larry. Larry's been there and done that.
Okay.
We're out of here. I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you.
Peace.
Quickly, let's do Randy. You're there. I got about a minute. Go ahead. Well, don't then. Anyway, we're here every Saturday night. This is live. This is a live call-in talk show. The telephone number is 381, area code 513-381-3838. I'm looking at it over the wall. Thank you for joining me. Those of you who we give information to, you have a chance to decide. Make some choices. None of us have all the answers, but collectively we've got one thing. We've got our vote, and collectively we've got that influence. Folks, don't give it up. I'm Bill Boshears. I'll be here next week. You take care. Stay safe. Every night, Bill Boshears next week will be Monday, Wednesday, I think maybe Thursday. We're gone. See ya.